Hi everyone, and welcome to the first Java tutorial video. In this video we're going to create this class, and then we're going to test this class, and we're going step by step to use the exact class name and attributes and then constructors and methods, and I'm going to explain it all when we are programming. So I'm going to use Eclipse for this tutorial. So now let's get it started. So the first step is you either go to create a Java project, or you go to Files, New, and you go to Java project, and then you have to choose the name of your project here. I'm going to choose example 1, and after that you can just click finish, and that's it. So my project is going to be here, and so we want to create this class, and so what we should do is we have to right click on source, new, and choose a class. So you will choose your class name here. For the package, you can either choose default, or I'm going to choose example again, and then the name of our class is going to be tax calc. I'm going to choose the same thing. So that's it, and then you can use the public static void main, so it's going to write it for you. You don't need to write it again, and when everything is finished, you can just click finish, and it will create the class for you. And so let's start with the attributes. I forgot to mention it here, but all of our attributes are going to be private. Product name is a string, product ID is a string, and price is a double. So I'm going to write private, so private is lowercase, and then string should be uppercase, and what was the name of it? Product name. And then semicolon at the end of it. Then we will have another private string, and it's going to be product ID and a double price. And private double price. So these are all of our attributes, and then what is the next step? Next step is our constructor. So we're going to initialize our attributes. So what happens is when you're creating an object from your class, because this is the blueprint of all of the taxes that have to be calculated. So you choose a product name and product ID and a price, and it's going to be an object. So when you're choosing an object, you want to initialize it. The way you do it is with your constructor. So for example, you go and you buy a ball from Walmart. That ball is going to be an object that's going into the tax calculator. That ball will have a product name, which is going to be a ball. It will have a product ID, for example, is going to be 002, and it will have a price, which is going to be for example $4. So that way your object will be created with all of the attributes. that are required in your class. So the way you initialize it is with the constructor, and the constructor have to have the exact same name of your class. So that means, and it has to be public. So public tax calc, that's it. And then it has to accept all of your attributes to be able to initialize it. Otherwise, one of your attributes won't be defined if you don't have everything in your constructor. When you're creating an object, you won't have all of the attributes at once, so it's better to have all of your attributes in your constructor. So for the product name, I'm just gonna use PN, and you have to specify the type of it as well. So PN is a string, and then I will have PI for product ID, which is going to be string as well, and then I will have double, which is a price, so I'm just going to use PR. So now I'm going to say, because this is a method, so you will call this method, this constructor, with each one of the object that you're making, and you have to give the PN, PI, and PR. So you want to equal each one of these to your attributes, so you will make the object of this class. Here I'm gonna say product name is equal to PN. So the first thing that we enter with our object, with our constructor, is going to be our product name, and then our product ID is going to be equal to the second one, which is PI. Product ID. Not exactly sure. Okay, and then we have the price, which is going to be PR. So this has to be lower p, this one as well. Okay, so now we initialized all of our attributes. Then we're going to check what is the second step. So now we want to make the method set and get for all the attributes. So there is an easy way to do that. You don't need to actually write all of it. You can go to the source, and then you can generate getter and setter, and so it will ask you which one of these attributes do you want to generate getter and setter for. So I'm going to select all because I want attributes for all. I want setter and getter for all of them, and then I will just click generate, and as you can see here, I will have all of the setter and getter methods here. And then after that, my next step is I have to make a method called summary, and it has to accept the product name, product ID, and price, and then return all of them as a string. So our method is going to be public or lowercase, yeah, and so public, and we said we wanted to return a string, the name of it is summary. So we have to return something because otherwise it will give us error. So I'm just gonna use return for now. Okay. So we said we want product name, product ID, and price, and they have to be separated by a comma. So what I do here is I will do string str equal to. So the first thing we want is product name okay, product name, and then plus a comma. So that means whatever product name holds plus a string of comma, and then again plus product ID okay, and you can actually, because if you put outside of it, you wouldn't understand. You have to put the spaces inside of your quotation marks, so there would be a space between product name and product ID, and then plus another comma, and then plus what is the last one? Price. So now we have all of them here as in a string. So now I can just return the str. So that means this method will return your product name separated with comma from product ID and then comma price. So that is our first method. Now let's create our second method. So our second method is tax calculator. We accept a price, return it as a double, price multiplied by 0.15, and if price is higher than 100, the tax will be 0. So again, public, this time we return double, and the name of it was tax calculator. Okay, return 0 for now. And then, okay, so we will accept the price and we will multiply that with 0.15, 0.15. So let's do that first. So I'm gonna do or after tax. Oh, so have to get a double after tax equal to price 0.15. Then you want to return after tax, but we had one condition, and that was if the price is more than 100, then you don't need to pay tax. So what I can do here, I can just put this one here, take the double off, and can do if price is I can, okay, let's do over 100, that's better, and then we do else for this one. If price is over 100, then after tax will be equal to price, because our tax is going to be 0. And then, okay, we made a mistake here as well. So this have to be multiplied by 1.15 because it is 15% tax. So the price is going to be price multiplied by 1.15. So after tax, price is 115, and I have to do an else here. Else this is going to happen. So let's go through this again. So we have a class, and we have a method that will return double. The name of it is tax calculator. And first we said if the price is over 100, the tax is going to be 0. So that means the price after tax is going to be the price, the same price. And then else, if the price is less than 100, that means anything that is less than 100 will come here, and the price is going to be multiplied by 1.15, which is going to be the price and 15% on top of that, which is going to be the tax. So right now we have all of our methods and everything is created. The only thing that we want to do, we want to test it to make sure that our methods are performing correctly. So now let's do that. Okay, in order to create a test, you will right click on source, and then you will go in new and JUnit test case. So you will choose the name of your test. Since I'm going to test the summary first, I'm going to name the test summary test. You can choose the class under the test, which is going to, because we just have one class, so that's going to be fine. But for now I'm just gonna do tax calc. Okay, so you can specify more. For example, here it will ask you which one of the methods are you going to test. You can either say it here, or if you want you can just click finish. So I chose summary because I'm going to test summary, and then I'm going to click finish. And it says that you want to add the library. You will say okay. Okay. So first of all, when you're coming in, it will have a statement here for you already, which is the fail. So that means if you run this, actually let's first save this one. If you run this, it's going to fail anyways, but we're just gonna run it. So it will show you that there is one run, one failure, because they have a fail statement here. So now we're going to replace this with our test. So the first thing that we're going to do is to create an object of our class. In order to be able to test it, we need to have an object from our class. So our class is tax calc. I'm going to choose, I'm gonna say tax calc. I'm going to choose example for name. Is going to be, or I'm gonna use tax object as for object, and then it's equal to new. Then you will have your constructor, so you can initialize your tax object. And what are the things that are going? So the first thing is product name. So for product name, I will choose, for example, an apple. And for product ID, I will choose 003. And actually these ones, because these are a string, they have to be in quotation marks. And then the last one is the price. So I'm going to say, for example, 2.3. So this is my, and there has to be in space here. So this is my object, and my object is an apple, that the ID is 003 and the price is 2.3. So, and then you will, my result is going to be in string. I'm just going to choose the name result for this one. String have to be uppercase. String result is going to be equal to. So what are we going to get when we are using summary? When we are using summary, we have to get the product name, comma, product ID, comma, price. So we will, it's going to be tax calc, because we are using this class, and then the method that we are using is summary. Okay, and the result that we are getting okay, so why doesn't that recognize it? So I'm using the tax calc, and I'm using summary, and it will return in a string. Oh, I see, I made a mistake here. You're using the name of your object, not the name of the class. So it is your for the tax object, which is going to be an object of my class, I'm using the summary method of that, because summary is a method from my object as well. So tax object dot summary. So I'm using that method on the object of my class. Okay, so based on that, because Apple 003 2.3 is the attributes of my tax object, is not the attribute of my class. So that's why when I'm taking the summary of the tax object, is the result is going to be this. So you have to say assert equals, and first you will put the result, and the second you will put the place that you, because you want to say that these two are going to be equal to each other, so you will check if this is correct or not. Okay, so for the first part I have to get apple and then space comma and 003, then again space comma and 2.3. So this is what I should get. So if my method acts the way that I expect it to behave, it means if it will give me this response, it means that my method is okay, so I don't need to make a change. But if I get a failure, then I have to go and figure out what was the problem. So now let's first save this with Control S, and then let's run it. So it passes. That means the result that I'm getting from my method is equal to what I was expecting to get. So now let's make another test and test our second method. Again, I'm going back to the source, right click on it, and new JUnit test case. Okay, so that was called summary test, so this one have to be called tax calculator test, and the class under the test is tax calc. You can go next, and then from there you can choose the method that you're going to test, which is going to be tax calculator, and then I'll just say finish. Okay, again I have a fail statement here which I don't need it, so I'm just gonna delete that, and we're going to start with our second method. So for my second method, first I'm just going to copy paste this, because I'm just going to create an object again, and it's going to be an apple, the same object, and so we have to test two things. First of all, we want to make sure when the price is over 100, we will get the same exact number as price. And the second one is we want to check if the price is less than 100, we will get, it will multiply by 1.15. So for that, let's choose an easier number so we can calculate it easily. So for example, if it is $1, you have to get 1.15. So again, we will do, this time we're not testing for a string. This time we're testing for double, because the type that our method returns is double here. So here say double result again, or you can choose any other name for it, is equal to. So again, we are using tax object, but this time we are using the tax calculator method. So whatever the whatever this method return, it will be stored in the result variable. So then we say assert equals, okay, so if the price is $1, then the result have to be 1.15. Since it's not in a string, we don't need the quotation mark around it, and then we will check it with the result. So let's run this one and see if it passes or fails. So it passes, that means our calculation was correct. That means our method calculate that correctly. And then I want to make another object, and I'm gonna do it again here. But this object is going to be object number 2. So my result is my second result. Again, object number 2. I'm using object number 2, and this time I'm going over 100. So I will choose 200. So now this time I have my result have to be 200. Okay, and this is compared to result 2. So if my object number 2 price is going to be 200, then my result 2 have to be 200. That means I have to get a pass if my method functions correctly. So I'm gonna run this again. Oh, it says that we haven't saved it. I'm gonna Control S and run it, and you see it passes. So now let's change it. For example, instead of 200, I'll say I get 210. Then it has to fail. Save it again, and you see that, and it will fail. So that's 200. We can check it for this one as well. So for example, if I change that to 2, it has to fail. And yeah. So that means our test's working and our methods are working as well. We can test it for this one. For example, I can put this 0, 3, and if I save this, if I run this, it's going to fail. So yeah, this is how we make a class, and then we test the methods of our class based on the objects that we have. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in next video. Bye.